Hi, and welcome back to the Scent Advocate. It's been a while since I've made a video. Been doing some thinking about why that is, and I think it's because I spend way too much time editing. And because that takes forever, I end up loading fewer videos. So I'm going to stop that, which means you're going to get a video here and in the future with a lot more mistakes. So buckle up. What inspired me today was some videos I happened to see while getting ready for work about shopping on discount fragrance sites and different places that different content creators like to go to get great deals on niche fragrances. They also talked about name brand or fashion house fragrances. I'm almost entirely focused on niche for my collection. So that's the part that really interested me. But what got me going was discussion about things like different discounts that some of these discount sellers provide. Sometimes it's, 10, 15, upwards of 30% in some instances. But I wanted to comment in this video on that because in the course of my collecting experience, I've noticed that some of the discount shops who, and I'm not criticizing at all. I mean, this is, it's all fair, right? And in commerce and capitalism, um, they will take, let's say, 35% off a fragrance, and that looks like a big number, 35% off, right? And so one naturally assumes that it's 35% off um, retail price, right? The thing is, if you look more closely at their pricing schema, it turns out that their retail price, so 35% or 30% off of, a $500 fragrance brings it down to whatever it brings it down to. But if you were to compare that $500 retail price by the discounter and you were to look at a regular retailer like the house itself, it would already be selling at full retail price at the large department store or at the house itself for $400. So you're not really saving 35% or 30%, right? Because the discounter has, for whatever reason, and it may be legitimate, it may be scarcity of the fragrance or, certain costs associated with them being able to acquire it in order to sell it, has raised that retail price for them. So I just wanted to share that you need to look at that before you actually pull the trigger and say, wow, 30% off is a great deal, not paying attention to what it's off of, right? So if the retail price on the discounter site is significantly greater than the retail price at the house itself or at a major department store, you may not be getting the great deal you think you are. Probably something you've already noticed, but it's noteworthy. So what I do to get around that is I usually shop on the discounter sites first. When I see a fragrance I like, I always go back and check regular retail. I'll look at the large department stores or the house itself. I'll also go to other retailers that sell niche, and I'll get a feel for what, full price is. And if the discounter with the 30+% is discounting the fragrance off an even higher price than the house itself is selling, or a major um, department store is selling, it's not really the deal I thought it was. So I'll continue to shop around. If there's a scarcity issue and that's the only place you can find it, then hey, it's supply and demand, and you decide if that's the fragrance for you, and you'll move forward from there. But it's noteworthy that although some content creators may have talked about that reality, I haven't seen it. And that doesn't mean it's not out there, it just means I haven't seen it. So I wanted to call it to everyone's attention because, of course, who can afford to waste money these days? So, enough of that. I have acquired in the last several months a few fragrances that I'd been testing over those months, and a couple of them I got for Christmas. I'm thrilled with them. They are amazing, and I wanted to just share my impressions. I'm not going to read the notes. But I will share my impressions of the fragrances after having tested them. Sometimes I find, I don't know if this is the case for any of you, and if it is, just kind of drop me a comment. Do you ever find that when you get a full bottle, it sometimes smells differently than the tester you might have acquired? That is definitely the case for me. So there's always a ton of testing that goes in before I buy a bottle because these are expensive. And I want to make absolutely sure. There have been a few instances where I've purchased fragrances I didn't absolutely love. And that has always been because the full bottle smelled differently than the tester that I had. And I like to avoid that as much as possible. So let me know your experiences with that sort of thing. That's something else I don't really hear a whole lot about, although I know a lot of you are savvy when it comes to batches. And I've read some commentary out there on various fragrance sites talking about how, different batches might be bad or, reformulated. Of course, we all know about that. But what are your experiences with the testing, the small testing vials that you might get? Being substantially different from the full bottle. Let me know about that. So what did I get? Well, let me start with one I did not get that I kind of hoped I would, but I find the price a little bit too high for me, and so I hope I'll get it as a gift as opposed to having to buy it myself. And it's Oud Zarain or Oud Zarain by Creed, and I've tested it. This is my second. I've got a 5 ml tester. This fragrance I really hoped to get for Christmas. Did not work out for me. This is exquisite. It's a syrupy, sweet, probably not a genuine oud, someone who is a true oud connoisseur, who appreciates some of that barnyardy, earthy, very dark and intriguing experience from true oud might find this a little bit tame. I love it. This is a dark, boozy, westernized oud, I'll say, with a molasses and brown sugar sweetness that is unbelievably tempting. I want more of this. The more I smell it, the more I want it. It performed beautifully on my skin. And for me, that means I sprayed it on my wrist or something, my arm, before I went to sleep. And when I woke up, I could still smell it. So figure, I'm a terrible sleeper, but figure, at least 4 or 5 hours later, you can still smell it. You got something there. And this is a killer, definitely. Good stuff. It lasts. It's strong. I will say it's potentially polarizing in my opinion. I could see people loving it or hating it. I definitely am in the love camp. It probably leans more masculine than feminine, but I do not care. This to me is just gorgeous. Now, if you're into these dark, heavy, syrupy, boozy, slightly sweet, a little bit smoky, allegedly oudy type fragrances, there are probably others that come in at a better price point, but I do find this to be distinctive. I won't say it's singularly unique, but it's distinctive. It is still growing on me. So I have probably 3/4 of my 5 ml tester left, and I'm going to keep going for it and hoping for the best that I eventually get this as a gift because it is lovely. What I did get for Christmas, Francesca Bianchi's Once Upon a Time. Oh my goodness. Love this stuff. So this is an extrait. It is 30 ml, and I have quite a few. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, maybe 10. 10 or 11 Francesca Bianchis. I just adore them. And this is very much that Francesca Bianchi DNA. It is a rich, powerful. It's not as carnal as some of the others. For example, Etruscan water is very carnal. Byzantine amber is very carnal. We've got, Libertine neroli can be downright sexy. It's amazing. And so if you know, you know. This fits in, but it's not as carnal as some of the others. This is a bit more made for the faint of heart, I'll say. This is a bit more likable by the masses. It's a sweet floral. It's a floral gourmand. It's got like a little bit of a burnt sugar. Very slight hint of skin, a little bit of sex in there. I can't decide if it's the faintest hint of cumin or maybe something animalic, but it's ever so faint. It just rounds it out. It doesn't come out and bite you like an animalic might. It's very, very nice, and it wears on the skin beautifully. Lasting power is fantastic, and like all fragrances, Francesca Bianchi that I've experienced. Beautiful projections. You gotta be careful. Definitely worth the money. A little goes a long way with this. It's prettier than sexy, but it's got that trademark kind of sexy note hidden in there ever so slightly. So it comes off as more innocent than some of the other fragrances from this house. And like I said, more mass appealing. A sweet, floral, any time of year. So I probably didn't mention that with Zarain from Creed, I would say that is more of a cold weather fragrance. This by Francesca Bianchi can definitely work into the warmer months. I wouldn't wear this to go working out in warm weather, but it's beautiful. Probably more of an evening fragrance than during the day, regardless of the time of year, but fantastic stuff. I absolutely love it. The bottle is the same pretty much as the other Francesca Bianchis I have. So if you're a fan of this house, this is probably among the safer blind buys, if there is a safe blind buy from this house. I absolutely love it. Check it out. Once Upon a Time by Francesca Bianchi. Next, I got, and I'm going to butcher this, Gout de Peau. Now, this fragrance, wow. I fell in love with this, and it is so unique. So first of all, I have to talk about the bottle. It's this is pretty small. I think this is about, let me see, is this 30 mil? Probably 30 mil. I'm gonna go with 30 mil. If I'm wrong, I'll put it in the video somewhere and correct myself. But this is a size, right? And are you getting that? There we go. And what's so neat about it is it's got this rock, this real rock on the top, and the cap is buried in the rock. It's like a piece of granite, I think. It's adorable. It's absolutely adorable. And the bottle itself is pretty sturdy glass, but the fragrance I fell in love with. It tested so beautifully. It's got a freshness, almost a solar note to it. It's like a fresh white floral with a slight hint of skin. It's something of a skin scent, I guess, but much stronger than your typical skin scents. Maybe a little bit of tropical jasmine in there. I'm definitely detecting some of that. Maybe a blonde wood, but very fresh. You know, ages ago, I'm dating myself here, right? Because I'm Gen X. There used to be a line of shampoo and conditioner called Fabergé Organics, and it was wheat germ oil and honey. And my mom loved it, and she used to buy it for us, and so we'd use it to wash our hair, wash and condition our hair. And there's something in there, something in this fragrance that reminds me of that fresh, and it wasn't just the smell of the shampoo and conditioner. It was the experience of being clean after the shower, after having washed your hair and conditioned it with Fabergé Organics, wheat germ oil, and honey. So I suppose that means there's an element of honey in there, which makes more sense the more I talk, because there's that slight skin accord, and it gives it, oops, let me fix this light. That's not going to work. It ran out of juice. There we go. That slightly animalic note kind of lingering in the background, but not in a way that, you know, like bites you or anything. Beautiful stuff. This is so a little bit soapy, Le Gout de Peau. Beautiful, beautiful fragrance. Absolutely adore it. That's not coming in very clearly. You get the picture. Next, I got Sesame Shower. This fragrance is, what is it? I think it's also 30 ml. This is by Concreted. And this bottle comes with, I think it's plastic, but it's meant to look like a concrete top. Very cute. It's solid enough. I mean, I heard it criticized once, not this particular bottle, but I've heard fragrance packaging criticized once, that if you cannot pick up the bottle by its cap, it's subpar, and this you definitely can. So this fragrance, what attracted me is the sesame. I love sesame fragrances. They're rich, warm, comforting, definitely yummy, sweet, but not too sweet. And this is all of it. Oh. If I were to reduce this down to its most elemental qualities, there is a smokiness that harkens ever so slightly to a smoked cigarette, leaning in the direction of a clove smoked cigarette. So not as sweet as a clove cigarette, but that perfect melding of a clove cigarette and a regular cigarette. And that's there. So if you hate that accord, test this heavily before you buy. And then there is the halva, that sweet Arabic dessert made from pulverized sesame seeds. It's a gorgeous confection. It's used in all different kinds of desserts. I absolutely love it. I acquire it whenever I can. It's beautiful, not too sweet, and that's exactly what this is. It smells like tahini aspires to be, right? So tahini is a little too rich and oily, the smell itself, to put it on your body. But this is what tahini aspires to be if you were to wear it. Can you imagine? Oh, it is lovely. It is sesame made into a fragrance perfectly. And so Sesame Shower, yeah, the name says it all. It is beautiful. It is mature. I definitely think it's unisex. It's probably cooler weather leaning. Oh, but it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous stuff. Not mainstream. Try this before you buy it, but I love it. I've not smelled anything quite like it. So there are plenty of really nice sesame fragrances out there, but I think this one is unique. Check out Concreted's Sesame Shower. And then finally, this was a little pre-Christmas present bought by me for me. It's Contre de Peau Eau de Parfum by Chambre 52. This is it. Oh, this is a skin scent. And it is, 52 mils. Eau de Parfum, as I already said. This I also tested the hell out of, and I just could not resist. So this was my Christmas present to me. Oh, it's so pretty. If you like a true skin scent, just got out of the shower, super clean, but you can't exactly put your finger on what soap you used. After you're out, this is it. You just smell great. A little bit soapy. I think this is a skin scent perfected. It does have some pretty good projection, which I love. I love a skin scent, but I always feel like I'm cheated a little bit because the projection, the longevity, for a skin scent, right? We all expect it'll sit close to the skin. But this one does a little bit better than that, and that's why I love it. I want a fragrance I can enjoy. This one, as it dries down, it gets a little more floral. It's not so powdery. I think I get a little ylang in there. Maybe some jasmine. Maybe the slightest hint of gardenia. I do not like florals at all. For the most part, they really turn me off. They're terrible on my skin, very cloying. They smell cheap on me for the most part, but this one is nice. So if you don't like a floral and you are looking for a skin scent, this is probably a great one to check out. Contre de Peau. I'm probably butchering that, by Chambre 52. Beautiful stuff. Absolutely love it. The bottle is great, by the way. It's got, a magnetic top, nice and heavy. Beautiful. Check it out. So these are the things that I got for Christmas. These are the thoughts I have on some of the discount shopping that I've done. Like I said, it's been a while since I've posted. I'm not going to edit this. I'm just going to post it. So, hey, if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. I promise I'm going to be uploading more videos. I think if I just kind of take this path and don't worry so much about mistakes and, how things look, then we'll all be fine, and I can upload more content. So, hey, subscribe if you haven't. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think, and bye till next time. Thanks.